a very, very big welcome to all of you who've been able to log in and join us live for the Solstice celebration, which is really what it is. We're going to honor the grand cycles and the micro cycles that actually take place within us too. So all levels, multidimensional honoring of the cycles of life itself through this incredible portal and this incredible gateway. And I must just say to you before we kick off, we've got a South African storm brewing, and I can hear the thunder outside. So I'm really holding space that it doesn't get too intense and kick us out of the conference room. The thunder is rumbling outside, so it may get a little loud. It depends on whether the rain can hold off for another hour. So here's hoping. We'll get into the process and hope that it actually holds off for the duration of our connection. So you'll see, I love this image, and it's another one of those that I've came across that unfortunately I can't credit because I don't know the origin. But I just really loved it because it's the mirror. It's a mirror of the Sri Yantra, sacred symbol, and of course it resonates to the energy of 9 because in the Sri Yantra there are 9 triangles that actually make up this sacred image. So not only do we have the one, we have the mirror of the Sri Yantra forming as an infinity bubble in this. So the symbolism of that was really to reassert the theme of as above, so below, of our inherent connection with the cosmic flux and flow, with the cosmos itself, with the divine nature of everything. As within, so without, as above, so below, everything is mirrored, and we are a micro mirror of the changes and the pulses and the flows and the cycles of the grand cosmos and the divine flow through the fabric of the cosmic infrastructure that we live in. So there is an honoring, a natural honoring of these cycles through these significant days and portals of the solstices and equinoxes. So today really is a deep honoring of the cycles of life and time that we go through. So let's share with you the energies of today. Because say we have a confluence, a convergence of so many cosmic influences that have really intensified the opportunity that we have to move through these, hopefully with ease and grace, as we flow into 2017, a year of brand new beginnings, of new creation, of new opportunities, of a new flow, of a new cycle. So let's have a look at where the energies are today. So first of all, I just want to share with you, just to reiterate, because we showed this slide the last time, the Mayan Tolkien, the harmonic module, the Tolkien harmonic module, as you can see, winds like a DNA strand. So it actually holds and encodes the magic and the fabric of life itself within the Tolkien. So it holds a lot of information that we can actually use in order to reconfigure and to restructure and reprogram our own DNA, which we know through the science of epigenetics is absolutely possible. And we're going to work with this at a different level this evening. So bearing in mind also that right through the center of the Tolkien, we actually have, so sort of through the center of the DNA strand, we have an intensified period here marked out by a number of gap days and what we call mystic core column days. These constitute, and that started yesterday, a 52-day transformational cycle. So here we started with a gap day yesterday. This is where we're at today in this one. And that continues. So we have 10 consecutive gap days. And then we have a 20-day period through the mystic core column, followed by a couple of breathing spaces, you know, sort of where we don't have that intensity. And then we hit another 10 days of really, really intensified gap days. Galactic and gap, for those of you who are not familiar, galactic activation portal days. They are days when we have an opportunity to actually be in closer communion with the cosmic energies. So they really are intensified energetically if we align and work with them appropriately. So let's have a look at the energies of today specifically. What we have, it's obviously it's a gap day. It's the second gap day in that column of 10 as we head towards Christmas, so the solstice falls on a gap day. It is known as blue electric hand. It resonates to electric tone 3, which is just really interesting because the 3 is also symbolic. We're at the 21st to the 12th, so we have 3-3 today, 339. So we have a very strong resonance around the number 3. And the electric tone 3, which characterizes this day, resonates with aspects of bonding, and it activates service within. So bonding we can really think of in respect of the ability to strengthen not only our bonds with each other and with the community and with humanity itself. So it's really being able to surrender all of those relationship issues that we've been experiencing, perhaps in the last 10 days. So it's a renewal, if you like, of that bonding and the activation of our ability to serve, not necessarily to serve others, but to serve our highest self. Because when we are in service to our higher divine impulse, we are naturally in service to humanity. So that's really what it's talking about. There's a very human aspect to the energies that we are gifted with on this particular gap day. It falls within the wave spell of the red serpent, and the red serpent is about following instincts with vital force. It is very strongly aligned with the earth. So here again, we're talking about qualities that we want to integrate within our human form, that we want to integrate and infuse into the earthly realm. So we bond with our higher self, and we're able to then bring that essence and energy into the earthly manifestation, which is really the opportunity that we've been given. So the wave spell is actually a 13-day period from December the 19th through to December the 31st. So during this period and all of these gap days, we really have intense opportunities to anchor into our earthly beingness more of those divine qualities that we perhaps seek in order for us to be able to fulfill our divine purpose. The overall essence of the day is described by Mariella Meyer from Mayan Kin, because this is really where I take most of the information from. May the energy of the blue hand help me to heal in all levels and accomplish what I am looking for. I am guided by the power of humor. And that's where I just had to smile, Rachel, at your comment earlier, because that is just so appropriate for the energy of today. That's really beautiful. So let us be guided by the power of humor. Let us find the lightness in the situations. Let us find the ability to be able to smile at some of these crazy creations that we have brought into being, these crazy circumstances and situations, because we have co-created them in order for us to experience them. So it really is through the healing then we find the ability to be able to look at it with a lightness of being that we perhaps haven't been able to, where we've been weighed down with the stresses and the woes and everything else that actually goes along with them. So healing in all levels, guided by the power of humor. So allow that to really infuse your space, and let's find the lightness in the time that we're actually spending together today. Accomplish what I'm looking for. I also want to just make a note about that, because we often, when we set goals or we list our desires, most of that is actually coming from the personality or the ego self. So we think that what we look for in life is really what we need. And very often we bemoan the fact that we can't find what we're looking for. And that is because what we are looking for is guided by personality rather than higher self or soul. So accomplish what I'm looking for is really there's a need here for us to surrender what our personality self, our ego self, our lower self thinks it wants, to our higher self, in order that we can align ourselves with the higher aspects of what we are looking for. Does that make sense for you guys? And when we do that, we will find that life begins to unfold, that we begin to experience life in a different way, that we experience things that we didn't even realize we were looking for, but that's what our higher self and soul and the divine wanted for us all along. And that's really part and parcel of this aligning with divine will. Because so often we tend to want to apply our small will to life, and then we bat our head sometimes against a brick wall, wondering why it won't work. So there's an aspect of surrendering the personality self to the desires of our higher self and allowing that to unfold in its absolutely perfect way. So yeah, looking with humor at some of the things that our personality self, our lower self, has actually created, or all of the things that it's actually created, and realizing the perfection in it all. And that can be difficult when we're facing challenges and situations which actually cause us stress. Does that make sense for you guys? You okay with that? So a really powerful day, very interesting time. Okay, so all I want to do with this one is to just reiterate the fact that we, in the 12-12 process, for those of you that haven't done it yet, the 12-12 process, we focused on this particular energy domain and doing a lot of clearing out of that domain and beginning to bring in new blueprints that we can embed into our nervous system, into our solar plexus, so that we can strengthen that alignment with divine will, which gets expressed through our actions in the world. So we're really going to continue with the focus on this particular energy domain or core diamond, this diamond within the core column, which encompasses and unfolds the energy of both the heart and the solar plexus. So I'm not going to go into more detail with that now, because really what we want to do is look at embedding those new blueprints in order to initiate a brand new cycle that we are actually moving into over this specific solstice. So we're going to use the energies of the solstice to enable us to do that. So what I found here, and I gave you a link to this particular website in the email note. This is beelzebub.com. Some beautiful information about the spiritual significance of solstices and equinoxes. And it's way, way more than just what we may perceive as ancient and perhaps often viewed, which we know they're not, so-called primitive cultures and their worship of the sun. It's far deeper than that because of the symbolic links between our sun, our physical life, and the spiritual sun, which actually lies beyond. So we're really looking at aligning the two of them. And I found this particular quote in respect of our journey through life. And our journey is one towards enlightenment. Enlightenment is also a phrase that some people have perhaps used quite lightly and sometimes misappropriately. So this is a very symbolic, esoteric understanding of the process of enlightenment as it relates to the cycles on the planet through these solstices and equinoxes, these sacred times where the sun is aligned in very specific ways that create and help us to anchor the diamond energy into being. So what they say here is enlightenment is the creation process in reverse, as it is the return of the individual to the divine source that we were created from. Now, before I read any more of that, I just want to read to you what they say about the creation process itself. Let me just find the page here so that I can share this with you. So I found this very significant, and I thought this really is worth understanding. Okay. In creation myths, a divine androgynous being firstly emerges from the great unmanifest and unknowable source. So we may think of that as the crucible of the black diamond, the birthplace of creation. This being divides into the duality of masculine and feminine, of father and mother, in order to create and give birth to a son. And you can read that word son as in S-O-N or S-U-N, who then makes the rest of creation. These myths not only describe the creation of the universe, but because the process of creation is the same on a macrocosmic and microcosmic level and a cosmic and personal level, they also describe the creation of our own unique being, which emerged from the source of creation and divided into its various parts as it came into the dimensions of life. So that's the process of creation, and we're talking trinities, we're talking the father mother principles and the sun. So what they say here through the equinoxes and solstices are symbolic of this journey. So they're symbolic also of micro processes that take place on an ongoing basis within us, but these processes are amplified, if you like, or given greater focus and attention through the solstices and equinoxes. So, firstly, in the journey back, the journey of enlightenment, the individual first fuses with the sun of their higher being, signified by the winter solstice. So for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, this is actually the phase that we're really looking at the moment. So it's this refusion with the inner sun, and that's sun, S-O-N, and sun, S-U-N. Remember, we're also working on the solar plexus and reviving our inner sun and strengthening it. Then the sun returns to and fuses with the mother, and you've probably seen a lot of the symbolism of this, symbolized by the spring equinox and the sun being swallowed by the serpent. The serpent represents the Great Mother. The serpent is an archetypal manifestation or representation of the great divine feminine, the divine Shakti, which was why Kundalini in its activity is also linked with the divine serpent. It's the divine mother seeking out the sun within in order to fuse. Then the sun mother returns to and fuses with the father, symbolized by the snake being swallowed by the eagle and the summer solstice. And this we can actually relate to the journey of the Kundalini up the spine, and the eagle is very often represented in those internal wings, represented by the freedom when we have the opening of the pineal gland. So this symbolism is taking place at many levels. So here in the Southern Hemisphere, we actually have this phase of the creation process taking place at the moment, or the journey back towards enlightenment. The feathered serpent, the three creation forces as mother, father, son, a unified and self-realized being then returns on the wings of spirit from the earth to the spirit realms to the divine source of creation, or the absolute, which is symbolic of the autumn equinox. So you see this process actually taking place through the natural cycles, is symbolized by the natural cycles on earth. The thing is, we have those cycles taking place internally within us at all times at the micro level. And the feathered serpent, you guys might recognize, this is the meaning behind the return of Quetzalcoatl, for instance. That's the feathered serpent of the Mayan and Southern American understandings. Also represented by the thunderbird in Native American traditions, the return of the thunderbird, the feathered serpent. It represents that final reunification of the ultimate journey back to enlightenment. So it's the absorption of all that has been created, that was originally created by the sun, by our higher self, in order for us to experience life, the absorption of all of that back into a unified being in a unified field, a unified space, in order for us to return to the absolute. And this is really where we are at the end of this 9-year cycle at the moment. So take us out of where we're at with the solstices and into that completion of the 9-year cycle, and this is where we are. So if you look at the triangle and the symbolism of this, you could start at a single point, which is the initial manifestation from the absolute. Okay, so from the initial manifestation of the absolute, take this as being a 9-year cycle. We have the first stage of creation, which is then the, this is a different way of looking at the triangle, by the way. The birth of the mother and the father principles, the splitting into duality. From those, we actually have the birth of the son, and then ultimately we have all of the creation being created, making its way back to divine source. So you actually have 4 points within this. You have, if you look at a 9-year cycle, you would actually start off here with the birth of new creation. So we're going into a new 9-year cycle now. Over 3 years, we actually see the birthing of the masculine, feminine principles in a brand new way, giving birth to the son the next 3 years. And the son is actually going to then make manifest all of these new creations and then the absorption of those creations back to source. So we have 0 and 9 represented by the same point in the triangle. So it's another way of representing this 9-year cycle that we're in. So we kind of go through this cycle at, as I say, at many different levels. And the number 9 resonates throughout creation in so many different ways. It's encoded within the dimensions of the moon. It is encoded within the dimensions of the sun. It is encoded in movements and grand cycles of time. So as we head into this new 9 cycle, what focusing on doing today and the process that I'd like to take us through is the reabsorption of everything that has been created during the last 9 years and the 9 years before that. Bring it all into being, ready for rebirthing into brand new manifestations. So does that make sense for you guys? Not only that, but if we think about the symbology, so there's a few comments. Yep, fascinating. It's just a different way of looking at it. And I really love also looking for the deeper symbolic and archetypal meaning processes that we are going through rather than just working on the surface, you know, sort of, okay, so this is summer solstice or winter solstice, therefore this is what it is. This is something really much bigger. So I want to actually fuse the solstices together within the diamond space in order to create the alchemical crucible for brand new creation. That's really what it is, the long and short of it. Bottom line, that's what we're going to be doing. In respect of the diamond, one thing that I just wanted to note is those who've done the Diamond Light Grid workshops will have been made aware of this through the work that we do together. But there are probably many of you who are not familiar with this, where we talk about the sun or the child. The sun you can also think of as the divine child of creation, the birth from the divine masculine, feminine principles. The octahedron, if you look at the Platonic solids, and I don't have a slide for this, but I think many of you will be familiar with Platonic solids. The dodecahedron and the icosahedron are generally accepted as being feminine energetic principles expressed through those specific Platonic solids. So dodecahedron, icosahedron are feminine in nature. On the other side of the spectrum, masculine in nature, you have the tetrahedron, which is fire, because they relate also to elements which align with the masculine feminine principles. You have fire with the tetrahedron, and you have earth with the cube. That's solidity, which are considered masculine principles. And between those, you actually have sitting in the middle of the range of Platonics, you have the octahedron and the sphere, and both are known and they fall on the axis of the divine child. The octahedron, and this is from Drinvala Melchizedek's work, and this really resonated with me, that the octahedron or the diamond is actually the divine child. So it is the crucible, the vehicle of uncreation and recreation, and especially the black diamond. That's where the black diamond comes in. So that's the link also between the diamond or the octahedron and the sun, because the sun lives within the diamond. When we actually restore and anchor and reinforce our diamond light grid. We're really strengthening our connection to the divine child within every one of us, to our higher self that manifested or was manifest, made manifest as the divine child of creation. So there's many layers of symbolism and understanding here. So everything that we do gets pulled back into this diamond crucible. So just for reinforcing, we're going to work again with the black diamond this evening. It's just really a reinforcement of the process. And we are going to work with the diamond light code known as cycles. And I love this because what you see here is in a two-dimensional form. But if you had to extend and expand this into 3 dimensions, you would see that sitting at the center of this code is actually a miniature sun. So it's the light and the information and the alignment, not only to ourselves as a divine child of the universe, our sun as a marker of our relationship to the greater cycles, but it's also the link through our sun to the central sun of creation, to the grand initial manifestation of the sun stroke sun, and the honoring of the cycles of life as they actually take place and as they birth, unbirth, death, and rebirth, if you like, through us as physical beings. So it honors the cycles of the solstices and equinoxes. It honors this death rebirth process as we're going into this grand new 9-year cycle. It's really working at many multi-dimensional levels and assisting us to strengthen the alignment with the divine creative principle that is expressing through us. So I hope that all makes sense. Does anybody have any questions? I don't really want to waffle too much because that's already been 25 minutes of waffling. But if you have any questions or comments, be delighted to hear from you. Thank you, Rachel. She says I'm not waffling. Oh dear. I just love talking. I love talking around this information. Have I confused a lot of you? Or are you actually okay with this? So if you can just sort of pop a yes or I'm not sure. You can re-listen to this afterwards. And sometimes it doesn't matter if you understand cognitively. What is really more important is that you connect with the essence of this within your being. Um, the deeper meaning of it, the deeper knowing of it, without necessarily, as I say, having the cognitive understanding. I just really needed to share it with you. Got it? Okay. Thank you. So I hope all of you that are picking up with this webcast shortly, or as soon as I've got the recording out, will also sort of understand and connect with the principles of this. So on this great day, we honor the cycles. That's okay. Valerie, like I said, it doesn't matter if it's not cognitive. It's really just connecting with the essence of it. We really are in the midst of some amazing cycles. The quantum answers, I love the quantum nature of this ancient knowledge. Yes, absolutely. And it's beautiful. And I would suggest that you perhaps can have a look at that Beelzebub site that I referenced earlier, because they do have some beautiful information. And yes, Rachel, it's like we know it on a higher level. So I'm going to leave that light code up for a few moments, and I'd like you to just spend a little while focusing on it, so that you can recall it. And even the sun, and this sun is no exception, because if you actually look at the rays extending out, I'll just point this out for those of you who may not have seen it before. If you look at the rays extending out, there are 6, and bear in mind this is now flattened into 2 dimensions. If you take that out into a 3-dimensional form, you will find that those 6 axes or rays from the sun would actually map out the axes of the diamond or the octahedron. So this really is about expanding out through the diamond through all of the cycles, through that expansive cycle, and then bringing everything back into the crucible of the diamond. So it is this flux and flow, and being able to hold this transition time that we're in at the moment in a state of balance, even while there is perhaps an internal flux in energies that we are experiencing. Um, and the diamond is the crucible, the shape, the vehicle that enables us to do that, to hold the chaos and the new order that is being created at the same time. So I hope that actually makes sense for you, because that's also very, very significant at the moment. And if it doesn't, just laugh at it. It's okay, because that doesn't matter, because that's the energies of the moment. You feel that, Hilary? What, the internal flux and flow that I was just talking about? That holding both at the same time? Reminds me of the light blast. Yes, yes, yeah, yes. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, that's it. So, there's the encodings are they're just all around us all the time. And of course, within the diamond, we have all of those different facets, all of those different triangular, equidistant triangular facets. So it's a constant reminder that as we view life through the lenses of our diamond, we are constantly reminded of this process that is taking place within us, and the fact that we are ultimately a unification, we are the unified field of the Trinity of creation. And the more deeply we embed that, the more expansively we are able to emanate that out for others to be triggered and to experience. So there's some very, very powerful layers of information in this. So if you're already on this amazing solstice day, I'm just going to have a quick drink of water, then we'll move into the process. Okay, I have wet my whistle. So if you are all comfortable, then I would like you to put your feet flat on the floor, or just be comfortable in whichever position you are sitting. Gently close your eyes. Let your eyelids rest, your upper lid gently on your lower lid. And with the first deep in-breath that you take, as you breathe out, allow your shoulders to relax. Let the tension ease, the tension that your body may have been experiencing over the past days and weeks. As you surrender into this moment, you simply let all of that go. And with each subsequent deep in-breath and out-breath, allow your breathing to align with the flow, like the ebb and flow of the tides of waves of energy being breathed in, and a deepening of surrender and letting go as you breathe out. And your body softens, your mind quietens, your inner being begins to align in the quietness and the stillness of your core. Allow your consciousness to simply drop into your heart, into that third energy domain in the core column of your diamond. And feel your heart energy expanding, lightening up. As around you now you envisage and invoke, call upon your diamond, your sacred crucible, your sacred vehicle for the manifestation of divine will through you. And your greater diamond aligns with a central point at the base of your spine, above your head with the soul star and below your feet with the earth star. And as you rest into this space, into this form, the energy that you breathe in is fueled into that third energy domain, expanding your heart, perhaps causing it to beat a little faster with the flow of energy into this space. And your heart energy then drops or flows out into your solar plexus, your diaphragm. And just for this time, you experience an easing of your diaphragm, a relaxing of your stomach, of your upper digestive system, of an opening and an ability to be able to digest life in all of its manifestations, to accept all of your creations, even if they were creations resulting from faulty thinking or patterning. In the light and the love and the energy of your heart, see these creations for what they are, a manifestation of pure joy simply for the purpose of creating, a manifestation so that you could experience facets and aspects of creation itself, of the divine. As the divine seeks to know itself, it does so through you and your innate creative ability. Wow, how powerful you are. And just for a few moments now, invoke the black diamond and allow it to enfold you, enfolding your crystal diamond that you have created. And the black diamond slowly aligns itself around you and begins to spin very gently. As it does, allow it to clean up any debris that's remaining within your body, within your cells, within your energy field from the purging of the past 9 days since the 12/12. Even beyond that, the purging of the last 9-year cycle. Allow it to absorb into the darkness, into this realm of cleansing and purification, all the remnants of creations which you have discarded throughout this cycle. And even as you see the black diamond absorbing the remains into itself, dissolving all back into the oneness, the depth of source. You honor all that has been created during this time. Be aware, perhaps feel and experience the beginnings of a bubbling up within your solar plexus, a bubbling up of laughter and joy, as in this space, in this clearing, you can almost hear your higher self and higher aspects, multidimensional aspects of self, joining with you in laughter and joy at the fun of creation. Just let go of what no longer serves you or has served you as you create the space to begin anew. Notice whatever arises within you as this process is taking place. Whether it be memories, whether it be visions, associations, colors, shapes. Just allow. What a ride this has been, and what a journey this will continue to be. And these cycles that we traverse and we move through are eternal and never ending, for each ending is simultaneously a brand new beginning. A brand new beginning that we can approach with joy, and with lightness, and with pain, and with hurt. It is simply our choice. And that is ultimately the cosmic joke. That none of it is really none of it is really important or matters. It is simply the choices that we make. Then understanding that you feel a renewed lightness of being, another layer of debris emerging from within and around you, dissolving into the purification or the purifying field of the black diamond. And hold the black diamond space as you now call upon the cycles light code. And you see it beginning to arise as it is created from within the black diamond, perhaps small at first, perhaps appearing as if from far away. But even as you call upon it, you see that sphere of golden liquid plasma, a miniature sun birthing from within the black diamond, approaching you. And that golden sphere settles into your solar plexus, emanating its rays out in all directions. Just be aware of how this feels, with the intensified energy of this code in your solar plexus and heart area. your inner sun. And you follow the rays of the light code out in all directions as they emanate out into multiple dimensions, accessing multidimensional aspects of yourself, like feelers traveling through the greater cosmic diamond grid into dimensions possibly unknown by you. And those rays of light seek out the creations that have been birthed within these alternate dimensions. For all creations and all dimensions impact our ability and stability of being in the now. Through cycles of time, you have experienced yourself in a multitude and an infinite number of ways. Some of those creations have served to uplift, to inspire, to bring forth enlightenment. Some creations have remained in alternate dimensions and perhaps continue to cause or create discomfort, pain. Let the rays of this cycle's light code seek out in all of these dimensions creations of yours first that perhaps continue to cause the experience of anything less than your joy. You may come up with images that you just would never have expected. Seek them out. And in recognizing that these are also part and parcel of your higher self creations, you have the power to uncreate, to dissolve those creations back into the crucible with the black diamond. And you bring them back on those rays of light into this sphere, this sun, this pool of golden plasma rotating within the energy domain at the core of your diamond. So those dysfunctional creations are brought back in and they are burned up in the heat of that liquid gold plasma, emanated back out into the black diamond as components or building blocks in order to reconstitute new, vibrant, supportive creations. Experience yourself as this living crucible of death and rebirth simultaneously. Be aware of how your solar plexus feels as you continue to uncreate your multidimensional, dysfunctional creations. And there's a smile that begins to show on your face as you realize how powerful you really are. This is the healing that we have always sought, and the power of our divine self to bring about that healing. What visions and versions of yourself have been impacting on your present reality? Uncreate them, even as you honor the circumstances, and the cycles of the soul that enabled those creations to take place. And rotate the light code so that the rays that emanate from it reach out further into distant stars and galaxies, into alternate lifetimes elsewhere in our amazing cosmos. As you seek out the lives, the experiences, and the creations in different quarters and spheres and galaxies, on different stars through different portals, on amazingly different planets. What still resides of you in those creations that seeks now the opportunity to be recreated? Allow your consciousness to flow out on those rays, to experience, to observe, and to bring back what you desire to rebirth. For through cycles of time, in the grand cycles of time, you have experienced many, many lifetimes as a soul in different galaxies and in different star systems. You are a masterful creator being. Bring back into your black diamond crucible with the sun at the heart of it, yet more of those disruptive creations, whatever they may be and however they may be manifest. If you are prepared to dissolve them and let them go, and bring them back into this place of renewal. Let them break down into their constituent parts, ultimately becoming simple frequencies of light, being held within the black diamond, awaiting re-encoding. And yet once more, rotate the light code that sits within this third energy domain, and allow those rays to expand out beyond this known universe. As you seek out aspects and manifestations of your creation in alternate universes. What lives, alternate lives, is your higher self experiencing in an alternate universe that may be causing or creating disjointed experiences in this timeline? What can be recalled and shifted as you seek out these spaces? Ultimately, all that is created emanates from you. All of these dimensions, universes, timelines converge within this one single place, the 0 point within you. Experience now a merging of the timelines, and a merging of the cycles within you. And allow the golden plasma at the heart of this inner sun within your solar plexus to now emanate up your core column into your pineal gland, electrifying and expanding your third eye, opening up your being to deeper knowing, opening up your physical, spiritual, mental, emotional bodies to be able to accept the voice and the guidance of your divine self in order to assess and harness whatever your higher self, as that emanation from source, wishes to create in the new upcoming cycle. Spend a moment allowing this golden light to infuse your third eye, bringing you into deeper alignment, deeper knowing. And allow the images or the impulses for those creations that are desired in the upcoming cycle to make themselves known to you. As your inner vision is expanded, there are forms that begin to take place within this liquid plasma field. The golden light of your inner sun. Those forms will overlay and become embedded as the new blueprints within your solar plexus, the blueprints of your divine will, or the divine will of Source as it expresses through you, enabling you to bring those into manifestation through the new creative cycle. As you breathe those images down from your third eye into your solar plexus, be aware of frequencies being drawn in from the black diamonds surrounding you. Frequencies that embed within the vision, strengthening it, cementing it within you. All the components of creation beginning to make this blueprint and these visions tangible and real. And those forms pass through your heart center, within this third energy domain, being infused with the love and the grace of your highest divine self, with the honoring, with the love of divine source, with an acknowledgement and recognition that this is part of your journey back to wholeness. And again, once you see these visions, you feel the joy that begins to emanate and surrounds them. For creation and divine creation is a joyful process. And these images of your new creations flow into your solar plexus and the nerve plexes of this area of your abdominal brain, fueling your instincts to guide you in directions that will ensure that these creations become your external reality, your experienced reality. And what joy surrounds them as this becomes embedded in your nervous system. For those impulses will guide you through the next 9-year cycle. And in this moment, as the new visions embed and the new creations embed within your nervous system, is a moment of extreme, deep lightness. You observe and you feel and are aware of not only the love, but the sheer happiness that comes with your ability to create what is in alignment with your divine purpose. You know how powerful you are. And as the brightness of that sun within your solar plexus intensifies, the heat providing the spaces or creating the expansion in order for the new visions to be embedded within your nervous system. So it breaks apart the bonds of what was previously cemented, creating space for the embedding of those new visions. And as that light intensifies, it expands out, even through your black diamond, bringing the light of clarity into all that has been subconscious or unconscious up to this point. Draw everything now, draw the entire black diamond into this miniature sun. And then look around at your personal diamond grid. And look at how clear and clean and bright it is, and you feel a quickening of the energy flows through your diamond. And even as the light intensifies, your creations emanate out on waves and vibrations, already seeking out whatever is required in order to assist the manifestation in 3D physical reality. And you can see as this happens, the beauty of this. For the crystallization of those images and creations is a pure embodiment of divine source out in the world, however they may be formed. And you are left with a sense of awe and wonder at how you could possibly have struggled and created so many difficult experiences when these new creations are simply awaiting manifestation with such ease and grace. Notice where in the world your creations seek to deposit themselves, and you may be guided to them at the right time in amazing divine synchronistic flow. What corners of the globe, what geographical locations are perhaps speaking to you in this moment? What is the response from Mother Earth in these locations as your new creation embed in their waveforms awaiting you? And take a look at all of your fellow participants in this amazing process and notice how many are connected with your new creations. How many of those creations are shared within the diamond community? And honor each and every beautiful diamond soul that you come across, even as you honor yourself as we move through the transition and the closing of this cycle and the emergence and bedding of the new. Honor each individual's personal enlightenment cycle, the steps that they are taking towards their own enlightenment. There is nothing lesser or greater, and nobody lesser or greater than the other. We are all diamonds in the making. Share that light that burns within your solar plexus center, your purified solar plexus heart center, with each and every diamond interconnected in this gathering. On this sacred solstice, all that you do is fueled by the influx of massive cosmic energies. Receive those gifts even as you receive and experience the joy and the love of the divine within yourself. And there is no need to release anything, for you are all. You are everything. You are the light. You are the sun. You are the creation, the creator, and the created. Allow that light that burns to now transmit and flow throughout your entire core column within your diamond, pulsing out through your Earth star into Mother Earth, your strengthened and unified field, holding you in preparation for the excitement of a brand new beginning. And take a deep breath in and breathe out as you hold this space and prepare to return when you are ready. Just take a deep breath in and open your eyes. How does that feel? Welcome back. That's if anybody is actually coming back or if they're not sort of still doing work out there in the cosmos. How does that feel? Do you know what song is going? I must just tell you what song is going through my head at the moment. Do you enjoy that? I did too. You know, so while the Black Diamond work on the 1212 was just sort of really gentle, in a sense, nurturing, and even though it was deep, this feels inspirational. And the song that's actually going through my head at the moment is that one. Oh, I feel good. I feel good. Who sings that song? I feel good. And believe it or not, it is James Brown. That's it, Holly. Wonderful. Well done. Yeah. I think I must go find that and play that now because that's the energy that I'm really sitting in. Like I know I should. Yeah, absolutely. I feel good like I know I should. Yeah. And that's really the essence of this because that's ultimately who we are. Yes. Holly says it felt like a celebration, and that is it. Okay, so Rachel says, didn't go in as deep as I usually do because of the pain today, but it was nice to be able to follow, okay, what you were saying and align with what has been coming in for me today. That's wonderful, Rachel. Thank you very much. Yeah. Enormous. Yes, we are. Enormous, enormous diamonds. There's such a lot of light surrounding it all. Lighter and tingling. So even if you don't listen to this process, if you can even just encapsulate the essence of what it is and repeat it, you will find that lightness being brought back into your being almost immediately. This absolute wonder. To me, there was a wonder of the magic, the absolute magic of creation, how magical you really are. There was this experience for me during that of the sheer beauty and enormity, and yet the lightness and the fun of who we really are. So let's see, we've got very thankful. Elaine says, fast forwarded through first part, left two places. Oh, you were gone. Sleep, like towards end, saw an onion peeling back, and then it turned into a baked blooming onion, and then it ejected into outer space. That's an interesting symbolic analogy, Elaine, because from a physical perspective, the onion, I mean, we know we talk about peeling back the layers of the onion, but the onion is also known to absorb all negative sort of bacteria and things in its physical environment. So I think there's a wonderful analogy there with this absorption and breaking down absorption of dysfunctional negative creations into the space. Very interesting. There's always a symbolic link. I love it. I love the way it happens. The beauty of that is amazing. Okay, so let's just see what other comments we've got. Maureen says, remember the song, I write the music and play it too. Oh, you remember the song that I'm talking about? I think that's what Maureen means. Laurie says, feel a greater sense of peace for everything that happened. Yes, the deep challenges during the 9-year cycle that is ending. So grateful. And what will be really interesting for us all to note is how many of those challenges perhaps have been sitting in manifestations that we created in different dimensions of self. So even if we can redo this again, sort of, and do this as often as is needed to dissolve all of that, because there's always multi-dimensional aspects that impact on our experience in the now. So if we can continue bringing those back, and then we can look at what we've created during this 9-year cycle, look back at it and laugh, literally. Holly says, usually I do lots of letting go in a rejecting sense. Okay, but this time I enjoyed bringing it all back to me, like in a big hug of acceptance and rebirth. Oh, I love it. Wonderful, Holly. Thank you. That's fantastic. Very cool. Thank you. And says the burning of the sun energy could almost smell burning than the prisms, like aurora borealis energy in curtains sweeping out into the cosmos. Beautiful. Yeah, I was really sort of seeing it as a glow, just as these amazing stars. So, and it has, I mean, let's face it, for almost all of us, it's been a very challenging 9-year cycle. Um, and I think it's really important for us to be able to move into this new creational realm, and this new creational cycle with a renewed alignment, because the energy that we are gifted with is a new alignment. So let's align ourselves to be in accordance with that. So, what did any of you actually experience your any visions of your new creation, sort of the energy forms embedding themselves elsewhere in the world, so that there are countries and geographies and locations that you may be drawn to? So Rachel says, feel a deeper strength within and acceptance of where I've been, and know I'm creating from a much greater awareness, so it can't be the same as before. Absolutely. And I think it's really important at this level that we also understand that whatever we've created, we can also uncreate, so we don't stay stuck in the dynamics and the emotionality of that creation. And when we're able to approach it and look at it with that awe and that humor, it's like, oh my God, look at what I've created, ha ha, then we're able to do it with a lot more ease and grace, and it's facilitated. We have the energy now to be able to uncreate and recreate it. So Elaine says, black diamond spinning like a top. Yeah, and like batter in a bowl, almost ready for cooking. It's splattered in multiple directions. Just had to laugh. I love it. Like when you accidentally spill and then start laughing at the mess. Oh, brilliant, Elaine. Well done. That's kind of what I was feeling as we were going through this. It was like, oh God, look at this mess that I created. What on earth did I do that for? Let's clean it up and start again. Now, I mean, I know you. There's an expression that says you can't unbake the cake, but we can literally bring all the components back, dissolve them all, and start again. Manuela will be in future Fuerteventura, Canary Islands soon. Oh, lovely, Manuela. Seems part of what is important. That's interesting. Both vision and location and 3 diamonds. Now that's beautiful, guys. So I really do look forward to hearing about your experiences and your journeys from here on. Because I kind of, and I really don't know what this means, but there was a something, and because I was guiding the process, I wasn't seeing exactly what it was. I'm going to need to go into the meditation myself, but I was actually seeing a fragment, a creational something heading off into, from where I am in Africa, it was up into the northeast of where I am. So I need to sit and focus on that and see where it's going, because it's in a really different location to where I have up until now been drawn to. So I think that's very interesting. I almost had a feeling of Russia, but now why Russia? I don't know. I mean, I know there are lots of diamond deposits in Russia. So I think there's a few more comments here. Rachel, there is a sense of a clean blackboard. Yes, ready to be written on. I'm showing my age. No, they still have them, Rachel. And says, I liked with what I'm doing here. and saw the linkages with the meditation group here who have developed so much, and this was associated with. Oh, fantastic. So what's that? And big Siberian shamanic tradition. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I would never in a million years have considered going to Siberia. And maybe I don't physically need to go to Siberia. Maybe that's just an aspect of the new creation that is going to be brought into the overall diamond. So I think that's going to be quite interesting to see what unfolds there, because I've sort of often really strong shamanic linkages and guidance. So yeah, and thank you for that. That's very interesting. How you says, feeling gratitude and truly blessed. Yes, saw myself and family in light bodies in joy, and I missed that comment. Um, joy and love and light dancing on the higher planes. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Yes, wonderful. How you? Thank you very much. So I'm just reading those out for those of you. Oh, Holly, well noted. Anne says we have not looked into that area. No, we haven't up until now. And like I said, I don't know. It just feels like that's where it was. I just kind of saw it heading off as like a piece heading off in that direction. Holly says also the ringing cedars, Anastasia movement in Russia, very inspiring. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Thank you for that reminder, Holly. I'd forgotten about that. I haven't gone into those books in depth, but there were some very, very powerful principles. John is really inspired by those books. Rachel, it might be interesting to see how John responds now that you've done this process. So I think for all of us is to look around and note within our families and within the environments over this movement into the festive season and to Christmas and all of the rest of it, is to just see how people in our environment actually respond and react once now that we've done this. Bear in mind also, I need to just tell you that of course the solstice is highlighted as today, but then also there is there are 3 days where the sun basically stands still. So there's like 3 days, I think, in which we can repeat this process often before the movement starts again. So I think that would be a really interesting thing to do over the next couple of days, even if you just take the essence of the process and you do it in your own way. Anne says, I've already noticed shifts in family. Fantastic. Oh, fabulous. Yeah, so I think that these could be expanded over the next few days. So yeah, the sun stands still on the horizon over the next 3 days. So I would suggest repeating this, perhaps go back to the 12-12 at, oh, excuse me, I've got hiccups, and repeat this also before the birthing of the new sun on the 24th or 25th. This must be the 25th because that's the celebration. So Rachel says, I think it's easy to forget others are going through shifts even if they're not as noticeable as the ones we're going through ourselves. You're right, Rachel, and I think it's to actually hold that space because often they will be going through stuff, and where we may be able to understand and explain what we are going through, there's many others who can't. They just know that things perhaps feel off or they're reacting and responding to certain things in different ways and not able to understand it. So I think there's a huge responsibility for us to hold the space for them. Holly says, yes, Holly, the 1212 recording is actually on the same web page as the connection details. So it will be on the same web page as this recording is going to go onto as soon as I get it downloaded and re-uploaded. So you can the package and the donations cover both webcasts. So there's no problem with that. Please enjoy them. So I'm going to, so just a few comments left. Hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. I got a smile on my face now, which I really like. Hmm. I'm feeling a lot more positive now about the next 9 years. I know it's not going to be a continuation of the 9 years that have just gone, the 9 years that have passed. Rachel says, thanks to all for sharing. Ah, thank you, Rachel. It really is an honor with all of you. Good. Oh, Hallyu says, I also traveled into the king's chamber at the pyramids in Egypt. Wow. You see, that's interesting, and maybe I can just say this is a really amazing book called Initiation in that king's chamber. The sarcophagus was actually used as an initiation chamber, and some priestesses, some of those going through initiation into the higher levels of the priesthood, also perhaps did not complete the initiation. So it's quite likely that there would be fragments or aspects of self that have hung around because of sort of being held in stasis in a different dimension because their initiations were actually not completed. That was just something that I was made aware of through a book by Elizabeth H. called Initiation, and it really rang true. Yeah, I did that too in the chamber. And those fragments would actually be experiencing the shame of not being able to complete the process, along with all sorts of mixed emotions, and the ripple effect and the ramifications of that would come back into the now. So all of those things, don't underestimate the impact of the ripple effects of all of those experiences. Maureen says, what a bright day. Something is just around the corner. Yes, absolutely. So continue, I think, recalling those dysfunctional aspects and just keep on doing the clearing as we move through the next couple of days and into the brand new solar cycle. And honor those cycles within yourself. There's a consistent death rebirth process that takes place all of the time. Even Kundalini moves in cycles. She's not a one-step process. It's a cyclical process that she facilitates death and rebirth through us, that cosmic serpent, the cosmic mother. So all of life is cycles. Thank you all. Feeling excited about the days and years ahead. Good. More positive, more confidence. Thank you all for your love and gathering. Thank you. Thank you all for such a fabulous, fabulous solstice. I just feel as if there's so much that's been lifted and realigned, and I'm truly grateful and truly blessed to have been able to spend this time in your presence and with your light, with your grace, with your love, and with your power. And let's not forget that we can do this at any stage on our own. And in our own time, we just need to set the intention and we will automatically reconnect with all of the diamond souls that are actually part and parcel of this journey and part of this process. Coming home, yes, we coming home to ourselves ever more deeply and ever more strongly. And that's the brand new cycle that we're moving into. May you feel more at home within your being and express that out. Love you all. And just sending wishes for a with song coming home, or I feel good. I'm not singing any songs at the moment. I don't really sing anymore. So sorry, that's just a comment. I'm going to close this recording down now, everybody. I feel good in the Star Wars voice. Yeah, Rachel. Happy holy days, absolutely. And may happy be the operative word. You know, sort of be happy in your holiness. And I think there's a wonderful book out, by the way, and it's really inspired me. I haven't read it, but I think it would be a good read. And it's written by Bishop Desmond Tutu, Bishop Tutu, and the Dalai Lama. And it's called The Nature of Joy, I think. And those are two souls who actually managed to laugh and actually find joy no matter what the circumstances that they find themselves in. And that to me is an inspiration. It's what all of the great masters know, that that is the cosmic joke. And if we really got the joke, everything would just be fun and all of our creations would be fun. And I think that's part of the lesson through this cycle because we've been through a really burdensome cycle that as we move into the next one, that we do this with a lot more lightness, with a lot more recognition of the fun. So absolutely happy, happy, happy days over this festive season to absolutely all of you. Yeah, stop taking ourselves so seriously. Let's get over ourselves a little bit and lighten up, literally in all ways and at all levels. Take that sunshine with you, no matter where you are in the world. And I love you. I love you dearly. This community is just is so bright and so wonderful and such a blessing to actually spend time with. What more can I say? So, wishes to you all, whatever your faith, whatever your beliefs, and I look forward to reconnecting with you on the other side as we begin the brand new cycle. Let's see what adventures await us there. Big, big hugs and much love to you all. Bye.